must congratulate ICC committee for organizing such types of sensitization programs time and again. Believe me, the ICC committee in any educational institution has a very strong mandate, and it's a very important committee in order to organize such type of sensitization programs. I'm happy that for the last academic year, ICC committee of your university organized many such programs where all the stakeholders, whether it's faculty, it's students, or research scholars, or NGOs, or the civil society, was taken into board, and various types of awareness programs were organized. I'm happy that today also at a very large scale, in order to celebrate the International Women's Week, which starts from tomorrow, I'm happy that this present type of a program is being organized. I can see a huge audience who are over here. This shows how much of sensitization we have on the campuses. I'm sure she must have taken on board all our satellite campuses also, because satellite, to make these types of awareness, is very important to have in all our satellite campuses. Just now I heard that number of sessions will be held. I'm sure that these types of sessions will be dealt with seriousness, and the recommendations will be made. A small changes in the institution makes a big change, and I'm sure that a small effort or a big effort from your side will definitely make a change in the working atmosphere of our campuses, and we move ahead in a joint way. I say that to have equality, gender equality is not that men have to take back seats. No, each one of us have to move together, men and women, boys and girls, together to make this society a very balanced society, and make our institution a transparent institution in every way, and all safety measures in place, whether it's for boys or for girls. With these words, once again, congratulations to the team and to everyone who are present here.
As a part of the International Women's Day celebration, celebrating International Women's Day, Internal Complaints Committee, University of Kashmir today organized this one-day sensitization cum awareness program, and this program consisted of two events. One, the rally, sensitization and awareness rally, which was flagged off by Honorable Vice Chancellor, and it was followed by a workshop wherein the students from various departments of the main campus and from the satellite campuses and also from the affiliated colleges of the university participated. The objective of this workshop was to sensitize the masses at the grassroots level. This is also as a part of the G20 and Y20. The objective was to sensitize the youth so that they will know what is this ICC all about, what is the role and responsibility of all this Internal Complaints Committee at the University of Kashmir. The main stakeholders of the university are the youth, and in order to eradicate this menace of sexual harassment at workplace, youth have to play a decisive role, and that will only happen when they stand sensitized about this menace. So this workshop has been carried as a part of that objective. Thank you so much.
very nice to have young students with us who come, as she rightly mentioned, from different backgrounds, from Islamic studies, from management, from literature, from North Campus, from South Campus, I think from across all parts of the community of JNK, that we have a representative students today. So it shows how important the day is, how essential it is to sensitize and make the young minds aware of this act which is in place. And as Professor Anisa rightly mentioned, that you are the stakeholders, you need to be made aware, you need to have some information about what this act is all about, because as far as my experience goes, not many are aware what this is, what this committee is all about. So we need to sensitize young people like you. And in today's times, when we look around us, we see internet is surrounding us from all sides. Men, women, girls, everybody is on various digital platforms. And women also are consumers of this social media legacy. Women are harassed, women are bullied, women are stalked, and they feel hesitant to come forward and talk about these issues. And amidst this, we have a ray of sunshine in the form of Miss Salit Shah, who is an engineer by profession, but working in the cybercrime, who is coming forward. And I think we need women like her to be there who can go and talk about our issues. So it's a matter of great privilege and honor for me to extend a warm welcome to Miss Salit Shah and request her to start her presentation. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us today.
We need to set examples, or we need to open ways, for which we can be proud of. काफ़ी कुछ चीज़ें मानिए पहले काफ़ी कुछ चीज़ें इंटॉलरेंसेस को बर्दाश्त किया जाता था, इनइक्वालिटीज़ को बर्दाश्त किया जाता था, डिस्पैरिटी को बर्दाश्त किया जाता था, बिकॉज सोशल सेटअप वैसा था. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट द सोशल सेटअप हैज़ ड्रास्टिकली चेंज नाउ. नो, वी स्टिल कंटिन्यू टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ पेट्रियार्किकल सोसाइटी, अ मेल डोमिनेटेड सोसाइटी, एंड इट विल बी. यू कैन नॉट एक्सपेक्ट कि कोई सोशल रेवोल्यूशन आ जाएगा अचानक एंड सडनली देयर विल बी लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड्स फॉर all sections, gender, communities, religious backgrounds. No, the society has been structured that way. And somehow society favors the haves, does not favor the have-nots. Have-nots would be people who are, say, poorer in nature, who are not from a good educational background, who are not from a good social background, who are not from a good economic background. And haves will be the people who have achieved certain economic independence, certain social independence, or recognition in these arenas of life. तो हमेशा एक disparity रहती है. But जब हम, मुझे लगता है Women's Day सिर्फ एक ही दिन ऐसा नहीं है जब आपको बात करनी चाहिए जेंडर पैरिटी की, या जेंडर इक्वालिटी की, या जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन की, या रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ बोथ जेंडर्स या बोथ सेक्सेस इन द सोसाइटी. देखिए, आई नेवर से व्हेन पीपल कम अप टू मी एंड से बिकॉज यू हैव डॉन्ड अ यूनिफॉर्म डू यू फील दैट यू आर इक्वल टू अ मैन. I always tell them, physically I cannot be equal to a man, and that is okay. That is okay. You should accept it. आप लड़ाई करने की ज़रूरत. I always tell people there's nothing to fight about. Yes, I'm not physically as adept or as strong as a man would be, and that's okay, because Allah, God, whoever you believe in, He created us this way. He created women to be delicate, to be sensitive, to be more emotional, and He created men to be physically stronger, to be capable of taking more than women mentally or physically, and that is okay. You have to accept that differences also make our world beautiful. Differences, conflict of opinion or difference of opinion is not always does not always have to be a fight. ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आपका अगर पर्सपेक्टिव ये है, मेरा पर्सपेक्टिव ये है, तो हमें लड़ने की ज़रूरत है. नहीं, वी कैन स्टिल, आप मेरा पर्सपेक्टिव एक्सेप्ट करें या ना करें, मैं आपका करूं या ना करूं, एक स्पेस होनी चाहिए हमारी सोसाइटी में कि हम डिस्कस कर पाएँ. That is the quality of an educated, of a developed society. That if you may not agree with me, I may not agree with you, but still we sit together, we talk, and we reach a consensus that is good for all of us at the end. So when I talk of this, I say कि सिर्फ एक दिन नहीं बात करनी चाहिए. We should be talking about gender disparity. We should be talking about gender sensitization, gender equality continuously. क्योंकि धीरे धीरे जितना हम बात करेंगे इसके बारे में, उतना मुझे लगता है ये हमारे एक्शंस में, हमारे बिहेवियर में, हमारे थॉट प्रोसेस में अडेप्ट हो जाएगा, ये पूरा इनग्रेन हो जाएगा. एंड मे बी वी कैन एक्सपेक्ट स्मॉल चेंजेस, एंड दीज स्मॉल चेंजेस will ultimately be a revolution that you expect, a mental revolution, a social revolution, an economic revolution, a geopolitical revolution. It does not have to be a fight. You have to understand that. दूसरी बात ये रही कि people ask me, so how is it working in a male dominated field, being a woman? So I'd say when you get into, for example, even teaching, I would say then, because there are a majority women in the profession of teaching, then it is a female dominated. ऐसा नहीं है. There's nothing, a field. So if you're given an opportunity where you can compete, in the sense the government has given you, भाई आप पढ़ लिख लीजिए, irrespective of your gender, आप PhD कर सकती हैं. उस पर कोई रोक नहीं है ना कि एक फीमेल PhD नहीं कर सकती, मेल कर सकता है. जॉब जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ आपकी निकलती हैं, जो गवर्नमेंट या प्राइवेट जॉब स्पॉन्सर करते हैं, उसमें तो कोई रोक नहीं है कि आप फीमेल हैं या मेल हैं सिर्फ. So there's nothing. So if the decision makers, the thinkers of the country decided that yes, women can also be inducted in a certain field, then surely we have the capacity to give something. And the need has been recognized furthermore because see, एक female representation बहुत ज़रूरी होती है एक male dominated society में. जैसा कि I would not accept it, but usually what used to happen, an insensitive approach would be dealt with. In a male-dominated field, when a woman comes up and she addresses कि मेरे साथ ये हो रहा है, perhaps as a male, I'm not saying because he's insensitive, maybe because he does not understand what it is to be a woman, what it is to go through life as a woman, कि एक औरत के साथ उसके domestic sphere में क्या क्या होता है, वो क्या क्या झेलती है, abuse, violence, harassment, even to major crimes like rape, acid attacks, murders, whatever, like up to those levels. So maybe a male is not, because he is not conditioned that way. Our society does not condition him that way. He has to understand the perspective of a woman. So, but what the need then was realized कि नहीं, we need to have women. We need to have a female perspective that would be able to understand the concerns of women better. कि एक औरत के साथ क्या क्या होता है रोज़मर्रा की ज़िंदगी में आप जब बाहर निकलती हैं. हर एक, मुझे नहीं लगता कोई भी ऐसी लेडी आप में से होगी जिसके साथ कभी ना कभी लाइफ में harassment in some way or the other, in some form or the other, या discrimination, if not harassment, ना हुई हो. We've all been discriminated against. We've all been harassed in some way or the other. But then to address it, or then to कि हमारी बात सही जगह पर पहुंचे, हमारी बात को कोई सीरियसली ले. हमारे साथ ये इश्यूज़ है, हमारे साथ हो रही है हरासमेंट, हमारे साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो रही है, बट हमारा कौन सुनेगा, हमारा कौन समझेगा, हमारे पर्सपेक्टिव को कौन अपनाएगा. So for that, the need was realized that women also need to come in certain male-dominated field to dilute it, to understand it, and make the perspective more fluid, more pragmatic, and dynamism is required, diversity is required. जैसे आप भी बात करते हैं inclusiveness की, तो उसमें भी male, female inclusivity की बहुत ज़रूरत है. So the need for women to be was realized, and certainly I would say in my times a lot of emphasis has been given on women to be able to given those decision making spots. जब हम women empowerment की बात करते हैं, आप तो ये बात नहीं करते ना कि आप सड़क पर जाकर परचम लहराएं, या I mean, for you, what is women empowerment for you? Perhaps women is the ability to walk on the streets alone, is perhaps to go visit a friend without having been accompanied by a male relative, perhaps to have a social life that is exclusive to you, perhaps to be able to be in a place educationally or employment wise where you can take decisions for yourself. तो एक औरत के लिए decision making ये होती है. It is not something that you will say, now I will go out in the society, now I will start hating men or say कि नहीं, you're wrong, men should not do this with this falana. No, it's not a fight. I always say it's not. It's always about parity, about equality in terms of being given opportunities for education, for employment, for avenues, for socio-economic development, for geopolitical representation. इस चीज़ में parity होनी चाहिए, इस चीज़ में equality होनी चाहिए. It is not, never been about a competition. I always find it to be beneficial if there is mutual symbiosis, if there is coexistence between both genders and they both realize कि women need progress and we can support them, or men need to progress and we can support them, then we progress better. And that I've seen, thankfully, because I've worked in a male-dominated field. This is my I've completed 8 years of service. So I've seen it all. I've seen the dynamism. I've seen how it works. And somehow I'd say through the highs and lows of my career also, or life also, I'm grateful to even my male counterparts, my male colleagues who've stood by me, who've given us representation, who've pushed us for achieving our goals, our dreams, despite the fact that we are women. So that, or when you wear a uniform now, specifically talking about my field, when you are in a male-dominated field like say the belt forces, which I am, so gender becomes very fluid. Gender का concept नहीं रहता. फिर आप uniform पहनते हैं, आप officer होते हैं. So nobody would refer to me कि because ये है तो एक lady officer को भेजते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है. So if there's a law and order situation, I'll be asked to go. If there is some situation, I'll be asked to go because I'm an officer. I'm also part of that field. So say for example at work, I deal with I supervise cybercrime police station from time to time. I'm also the chief investigating officer of District Srinagar. I'm the only girl in the entire team of entire Kashmir zone in the entire valley. And I'm the only youngest person in the team. So I was not discriminated upon. They didn't say ki sleep nahi kar sakti, ya she's not talented enough, she's not meritorious enough, ya she's a woman, she cannot do it. Nobody.
Sexual harassment primarily is concerned with unwelcome behavior. The behavior has to be unwelcome. Only then it will qualify as sexual harassment. So if you have physical contact, if you request sexual favors, if you make sexually colored remarks, if you show pornography, or any other physical, verbal or non-verbal conduct would amount to sexual harassment. Basically, it covers the entire gamut of actions and non-actions. That means verbal, non-verbal, physical, non-physical, if it has a sexual connotation. That has to be understood, okay? Now, what is important for us is how do we define workplace? What does workplace mean? Is university a workplace? Yes, it is a workplace because the definition of a workplace has been widened. It means if you are in a sports institute training, that sport institute is a workplace. If you are going because of some work that is given to you by your employer, you're traveling by transport. The transport by which you travel, that is also a workplace. So then you have hospitals, nursing homes, all of them come within the ambit of workplace. One more important thing to remember is even domestic workers are covered under the 2013 Act. That means if a domestic worker is sexually harassed when she is doing her work, she can also approach under the Sexual Harassment Act. Then the question is, who is a employee? Employee does not mean an employee as we understand it in common parlance. Employee would be a trainee, it would be a probationer, it would be an apprentice, it would include everything. A research scholar is also a employee. Okay, now the question is, before I come to this, there's a little anecdote that I would like to share with you. This happened basically, I was doing a study on sexual harassment, and I was, during the course of my research, what I found was that there was a case. That case pertained to the Government Medical College, Srinagar. There was a professor, and I'm sure all of you are students, and at some stage in your life you have faced this. So what happened is that particular professor used to tell girls that they have to come to his room he wanted some sexual favors, not very grave in nature, but nevertheless, they were sexual favors. If they would not come, he would fail them in the viva. So many of you can relate to this story. We don't need to say more about it. The thing is that what those girls did, they wrote a letter to the Chief Justice of Jammu and Kashmir High Court. That letter was treated as a public interest litigation. And then the High Court issued directions in that regard. They said proceed against the professor. That professor's wife was also working in the medical college. Do you know who his greatest supporter was? His wife. She was the one who was his greatest supporter. She said, no, my husband cannot do it. This is just to drive home the point that how difficult it is to get redressal or remedy in such cases. But the question is, should we choose to remain silent? Why? Because the perpetrator always preys on your silence. It is your silence that emboldens him. Today it's you, tomorrow it can be someone else. the circle will go on and he will only get emboldened in the process.